The bodies of two unidentified men were discovered at the NGOMGHAM neighborhood in BAMENDA early this morning. In NGAOUNDERE, the brigade commander's residence razed by fire in GALIM-TIGNÉRÉ. These were the headlines for today's newscast, and now the news in details. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning in for today's edition of the Primetime News on Abakwa Television. In the anchor, I am Schneider Williams. We begin today with the breaking news coming in from Bamenda in the Northwest region, where the bodies of two unidentified men have been discovered at a road junction in the NGOMGHAM neighborhood. The circumstances surrounding their deaths remain unclear, as Sonka William gives us more in the report.
Shock and fear gripped residents on NGOMGHAM in Bamenda earlier today after the bodies of two unidentified men were found lying at a busy road junction beside government school NGOMGHAM in Bamenda 2 this January 30, 2026. The victims were discovered with visible bullet wounds, suggesting they were shot at close range. However, residents in the area say they did not hear any gunfire, raising strong suspicions that the men were killed elsewhere and their bodies later dumped in NGOMGHAM. The gruesome discovery attracted a crowd of curious onlookers, pending the arrival of the competent authorities to carry out official procedures and launch a full investigation. The motive behind the killings remain unknown, and the identities of the victims are yet to be established. While residents are once again expressing concerns over insecurities, calling on authorities to reinforce security patrols and restore calm in the area.
An information notice was sent out by the Burns Company in Bamenda with respect to the road constructions. As part of the rehabilitation works on the Bamenda Urban Road crossing, certain structures are being reconstructed, requiring temporary road closures for safety reasons. The public is hereby informed that the bridge on Ayaba Street will be completely closed to traffic from the 31st of January 2026 for an estimated period of 2 months. To maintain traffic flow, the following alternative routes have been designated. From the city center, Savannah Junction, Bunkwata to Ayaba Street. Towards the city center from Finance Junction, Central Public Police Station, Central Park Commercial Avenue, Administrative Garage, Central Park Commercial Avenue. For heavy-duty vehicles coming from Bafoussam, Yaoundé and Douala, welcome to Bamenda, to Champion School, to Amumezam Junction, to Mile 2, to Foncha Street, to City Chemist. All road users are requested to comply strictly with these arrangements and to observe the 30 km/h speed limit in the work zones. The Burns Company apologizes for any inconveniences caused and thanks the public for their understanding and cooperation. Tension is rising in GALIM-TIGNÉRÉ in the Vina division of the Adamawa region following a second fire incident targeting symbols of state authority within 1 week. The residence of the local brigade commander has been destroyed by fire just 5 days after a deadly blaze claimed the lives of the senior divisional officer and his family. Dashi Sharon tells us more in the report.
What was once the official residence of the brigade commander in GALIM-TIGNÉRÉ now lies in ruins. Charred debris, collapsed walls, and the smell of smoke tell the story of a building reduced to ashes in the night of January 28, 2026 at about 11 p.m. as sources confirmed. According to security sources, the house was deliberately set on fire by unidentified individuals in what appears to be a targeted attack. No casualties were reported in this latest incident, but the message sent has raised serious concern among residents and authorities alike, questioning whether the area is facing renewed insecurity from armed groups, eternal dispute, or a rise in organized crimes. This arson attack comes barely 5 days after a far more tragic incident. On January 23rd, the senior divisional officer of GALIM-TIGNÉRÉ, Mr. Patrice João Nariki, his wife and 3 children died after their residence went up in flames. While initial reports suggested an accident fire, growing speculation within the community points to possible criminal involvement. The back-to-back nature of the incident has intensified suspicion and war. In response, administrative authorities have deployed a joint security team made up of gendarmes and police officers. Patrols have been reinforced and an in-depth investigation has been opened to establish the cause of both fires and identify those responsible. As investigations continue, the population of GALIM-TIGNÉRÉ remains on edge, awaiting answers and reassurance that their security can be guaranteed. Authorities say they will communicate officially once new elements emerge.
In the southwest region in Boya, an unidentified man survived a car accident while driving on high speed and coming downhill from Bonduma while using his mobile phone. At the same time, a truck had broken down and was parked in the middle of the road, and he reportedly tried to avoid the truck but lost control of the vehicle. The car first hit a high-tension electricity pole before falling off the cliff. Fortunately, no one died. The car owner only had minor injuries and was taken to the hospital. The accident also affected electricity supply in the area, causing a blackout in some parts of the town. This raises concerns with respect to road safety measures and sends out a message for drivers to exercise caution while working on the highway. On January 29, 2026, personnel from Cameroon's National Security presented New Year greetings to the Delegate General Martin Banga-Gele at a ceremony at the Esplanade of the General Delegation in Yaoundé. Details with Menyam Sibel.
The event gathered senior police officials and staff from various units, fostering a spirit of unity and solemnity. Representatives emphasized their commitment to their core mission of safeguarding lives and property nationwide. In his address, Delegate General Ngole praised the professionalism and dedication of the police force, particularly in light of evolving security challenges. He urged his team to maintain vigilance, enhance collaboration, and intensify efforts to ensure public safety and peace. The ceremony also provided an opportunity to reflect on the past year's achievements and reaffirm the commitment of the national security to uphold law and order. As 2026 begins, the agency reiterated its resolve to collaborate closely with the community to promote peace and stability throughout Cameroon.
Now in Nigeria, on the foreign news, the police have used tear gas to disperse protesters in Lagos following demolition of homes in Makoko, one of Africa's largest floating slums. The demolitions have displaced thousands, sparking outrage among residents who accuse authorities of acting without adequate consultation or resettlement plans. More in the report. The demonstration followed the destruction of hundreds of homes, leaving thousands of residents displaced. During the confrontation, at least one protester was reportedly injured and rushed to the hospital with a leg injury. More than 1,000 affected residents marched from Makoko to the Lagos State House of Assembly, demanding an immediate halt to the demolitions and calling to be addressed by the state government. Protesters defied police orders to disperse, insisting that their grievances be heard. Lagos State authorities, backed by armed police officers and heavy-duty excavators, say the demolitions are necessary, arguing that the structures were illegally erected beneath high-voltage power lines and pose serious safety risks. Most of the affected homes are wooden houses built on stilts above the water. Residents, however, strongly dispute the government's position, saying many families have been left homeless with no alternative accommodation. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, in an interview, said that Makoko, Oworon-Shoki and Owode Onirin cases will be used in Lagos State to challenge unlawful evictions, noting that no tenant or landlord can be displaced without a court order under Nigerian law.
We are going to use these cases, Makoko, Oworon-Shoki, Owode Onirin and the rest of them. We are going to use them to stop unlawful evictions in Lagos. This country belongs to all of us. You cannot, in Lagos State, you cannot eject a tenant without a court order. A tenant. You cannot take over anybody's house in Lagos, right, without a court order. They have their land grabbing law, they have rent, and recovery of premises law, So, if you cannot eject a tenant, can you now demolish the house without a court order? But that means you are also ejecting the landlord or the landlady without a court order. So, but beyond that, the Lagos High Court, that's by the Honorable Justice, one of the judges in Lagos here, did ordered Lagos State, Justice Onibanjo, in 2017, before he retired, ordered Lagos State to stop illegal demolition. If you want to demolish, you must enter into a dialogue with the victims, or those who are likely to be victims, so that you can provide alternative accommodation for them. In the case of another case last year by Justice Ogazi of the Federal High Court, it was also to the same effect. That you can't just wake up, move bulldozers to an estate where Nigerians live and demolish the place.
The incident once again highlights Lagos' deepening housing crisis, with a population exceeding 20 million. Africa's largest city continues to struggle with a severe housing shortage, fueling the rapid expansion of informal settlements across the metropolis. Authorities say operations will continue as investigation and assessments are carried out, while residents vow to sustain pressure until their demands are met. Over to sports. Cameroonian athletes born between 2007 and 2010 interested in participating in the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Eugene, United States, can now review the qualification system and entry standards published by the World Athletics Federation. Selection for the championships will be based on performances recorded between October 1, 2025 and July 26, 2026, 3 weeks prior to the commencement of the event. Football fans were treated to top-class action in the UEFA Champions League as Europe's biggest clubs battled for dominance. With thrilling goals and intense competition, the tournament continues to prove why it remains the most prestigious club competition in world football. Gashi Sharon has more for us in the report.
The UEFA Champions League phase has concluded with 8 teams already qualified for the round of 16. The next 16 teams ranked 9th to 24th will enter a knockout playoff round to determine the remaining 8 spots. Teams include Real Madrid, Inter Milan, PSG and Newcastle, and others such as Benfica and Bodo Glimt. The draw will take place on Friday, January 30th, with ties played over 2 legs in mid-February. Winners would advance to the round of 16, where they will face one of the top 8 seeded teams in the next draw on February 27. High-profile teams like Real Madrid and PSG face extra high-stakes matches to continue their European campaigns. The playoff format adds intensity and unpredictability to the expanded Champions League structure. Teams for the same country can be drawn against each other, increasing the potentials for domestic rivalries. Emerging sides like Bordeaux vs Glims and Korabek have the opportunity to upset traditional European powers. The outcome will significantly shape the round of 16, influencing the tournament's competitive balance. The playoff draw sets the stage for a dramatic February as clubs fight to keep their Champions League dreams alive.
We've come to the end of the primetime newscast on Abakwa Television. Thank you for staying tuned. For presentation, I am Schneider Williams. This news was brought together by the entire English news desk of Abakwa Television. It was produced by Akonglu Brandon under the supervision of the station's manager, King Wills. Thank you and good night.